We are thrilled to announce the exciting partnership between Sunset Speedway and Stickers and Scuffs. As our local hometown track, Sunset Speedway holds a special place in our hearts, offering thrilling weekly racing events that cater to a wide range of enthusiasts. From bone stocks to mini stocks, modifieds to hot rods, prolates to the junior late models, our track is home to a diverse and talented group of racers who continue to captivate us at every turn. Located in Innisfil, Ontario, Sunset Speedway boasts an incredible atmosphere that truly embodies the spirit of racing. Looking ahead, 2024 promises to be a remarkable year with a major lineup of events that will surely leave spectators on the edge of their seat. Don't miss out on the Hanley Classic, the Power Wheel Drags, Oscar Hot Rods versus Sunset Hot Rods, Velocity, the Tamio Memorial, the Bill Zarda Memorial, and countless other thrilling races. For their complete schedule and ticket information, be sure to visit sunsetspeedway.ca today. Get ready for a season packed with speed, adrenaline, and unforgettable moments.
Welcome to GForceTV, a professional network that brings you exhilarating on-track action like no other. Their dedication lies in providing you with amazing racing coverage from prestigious venues such as Ohsweken Speedway and the APC Series through Racing America. But that's not all. They also offer a wide range of captivating racing podcasts that will keep you up to date with all the latest news and insights. Race Rivals, hosted by Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey, brings you engaging discussions that delve into the thrilling world of racing. For a weekly dose of racing insights and behind-the-scenes stories, On Track Weekly with Cam K is the show for you. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. They have so much more in store for you. In 2024, GeForce is set to be your ultimate destination for on-track action. You can find them on YouTube or visit their website at GForceTV.net. Join GeForce TV and embark on an exciting journey into the world of racing.
Stickers and scuffs in the fast lane, yeah. Live with the raw, feel the drive, yeah. Madness on the track, we ain't slowing down. Cam and Graydon taking it around town. From the bleachers to the pits and pride, stories scream loud, no place to hide. Engine screaming gas pedal to the floor. Ontario nights, we keep asking for more. Broadcasting live through the middle and night. Under the lights, racing pure delight. Going in a flash.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. We are here with a dynamic duo of Sunset Speedway. That's right. Sunset Speedway represent.
I got it. Look, I'm ready.
Only one showing off the merch today, though.
I got the dirt late model shirt on tonight. I wasn't thinking.
Spencer Lewis Brendan Doherty.
I got explicit instructions to come right over the top before we go any further with this interview, because there's every year there's rumblings that like it's the last year at Sunset and all that goofy shit.
The rumor and innuendo.
I've already signed my deal for next year. We've already met. Brendan's back. I'm back. We're roughing in a schedule right now and payouts and big dates. So put it out there. Do not come to us this weekend and ask us if Sunset's closing, because like Brendan might say something mean to you. If you're watching this, don't do it. Some people did it last weekend and it didn't go well. We're racing next year. We're back. The track's opening. We're not closing. We're back. Don't do it. Don't come to the Velocity and ask. We're racing next year.
Sunset is alive in 2025 then, is that right?
Sorry.
Public service announcement is over.
Yeah, that's it.
Alive in 25.
There you go.
They've just given me ammunition. Just giving me ammunition for Friday. Hey, are we running next year?
Ask Brendan. You can ask Brendan. Ask Brendan. Don't ask me.
I might actually be uncouth at some point in time, which I'm seldom am. So.
Acrobatic and uncouth. Acrobatic and uncouth.
Well, as you guys know, the season just officially points championships just wrapped up. I've got to ask both of you guys stories of the year, because there's some really, really good ones across the 7 divisions, but just some names that you want to shout out for how they did this year.
I mean, I think just in general, the hot rod division on a whole, I mean, there wasn't a night they put on a bad show. Saturday was absolutely incredible. Race of the year, let alone, race of the night. Like,
without question. So race of the year last year, our informal race of the year was Jordan House versus Danny Benedict at the Allen Lincoln Cup. That was race of the year. This year, there's still another weekend, so someone might be able to sneak in and grab that. I don't know, man. Like that to us, we were in the Sunset group chat, the two owners and us. We were like, that's race of the year. Like there was still like 9 laps to go. We're like, this is race of the year. Nothing's gonna beat this. So that, yeah, hot rod division. That
Hot rod division.
How many nights did they race at Sunset this year? 10?
No, not even that. I think we were like 7 or 8.
So they raced 8 times. I think they won race of the night 6 times out of 8 features. Like,
not too bad.
Dude, the race of the night poll was very kind to the hot rod division. Hot rod, like, telling you, man, the hot rod division puts asses every 18 inches. I'll tell you, I'm a huge hot rod fan.
And that, as guys that like purvey this and put it out on the internet and do all these amazing promotions for the track, it makes it pretty easy when there's racing that compelling to watch every week, right?
100%. It makes us look like geniuses when really we don't do anything at all, right? Like the hot rods promote themselves. It makes us look. It makes us look like we're doing a good job. We're not doing anything. Like, all that drama between Walters and Balson, and they haven't liked each other for 20 years, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. They haven't liked each other for a long time. So you put all that into it, and they have that fantastic battle, and they're racing for points for a championship all year long. Like it writes itself. Like it's and then for Amanda to win it that way, for her and Tom around 1-2 on the last night when going into the feature was like 3 points or something goofy like that.
So 1 point. Amanda was 1 point behind coming in. Going into the feature, she was 1 point ahead.
1 point. It's the coolest way to win a championship ever. Yeah. Like it's like a movie. Like it's like if someone wrote that into a screenplay, you'd be like, that's ridiculous. Like shit like that does not happen in real life. No, it's the hot rod division was without question the biggest bonus of 2024. Like I thought they were going to be good, but I didn't think they were going to be that good. Like they blew me away every single night.
Nice.
Was it the loudest that we've heard a crowd response? Because that was insane.
I mean, when Amanda told me in Victory Lane, she could hear it in the car under caution.
Yeah.
You know, earbuds on, helmet on, car running and idling and moving around the track. She could hear the fans.
Yeah.
Like they were wild. And like, that was like, I only asked them once, but like they were wild when she got the lead. Like it was like Dale Jr. at Talladega type reaction from the crowd.
It was just such a perfect like babyface heel dynamic, right? Like I don't think Tom's like heel. Like Tom, I respect Tom. You know, like it's just he knows how to play that role. He's like Sammy Swindell. Tom Walters is Sammy Swindell. He's the Sammy Swindell of Sunset right now, where you know he's just like gruff and he's won a million times and he just sort of it is what it is and he'll scream at you and he screamed at me whatever. And then Amanda is like this white meat blue eye baby face, like the fans love her and the little kids in the stands love her, and it writes itself. It's this beautiful dynamic. For it to come down like that is absolutely
I'm gonna say, since we talk wrestling here because we're talking heels and faces, you've got the tribal chief in Tom Walters acknowledge me because I've been doing this, winning all the titles, and now all of a sudden you get the one that's coming in saying, no, this is my time, and we got the fans coming with me, right?
I'm telling you, dude, like because there's so many really good race car drivers that the fans are just sort of apathetic to. Mm-hmm. You know, like you could be incredibly talented, and the fans they'll give you a golf clap. And that's about it. There's not a lot of drivers that can sort of like transcend that where they actually have a fan base of their own. I would say, Amanda, one of the very, very few people that we have racing there full time that has a fan base of their own that people actually come and pay real human dollars to see, where like they would not come if she wasn't on the card. There's a small number of those drivers in the province, and Amanda's one of them for sure.
It's one of those things.
I mean, she's
gotten there,
show, man. Yeah.
it's the show itself, but also you guys have had a season and a finale really where you had guys getting their first victories in their respective divisions. Let's talk Jacob Booth finally gets that, and one of the most creative numbers I've ever seen on a race car with the
I love
dice.
the Jason Fager tribute is like the coolest thing in the world, man.
Right?
I think that's awesome.
And
so I was talking to him before the races. During the heats, I was behind the billboards on the back straightaway, and I was over there just shoot, just hanging out with these guys. So I lean in the window. I'm like, dude, there's no better way to cap off a rookie season. Like you've already like exceeded everyone's expectations. Like the best way to cap this off would be to win your first feature. And he's like, that's what we're gonna do. Like I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try for it. Like he did it. Like that was the best that car's looked all year.
I mean, he got close a few times. I remember when Bailey Jacobs won. He was a Jacobs outside coming across the line. Like a couple more laps, he would have had him probably. But I mean, he had a run through July where it was like he caught on and was like playing the game well, and he was up there, and it was like a couple second place finishes, and then kind of went back struggling for a little while.
Yeah.
They kind of lost where they were at, and from the sounds of it, they kind of had maybe some motor issues that they finally got to the very bottom of, that was just kind of holding that car back. They got the turning figured out, but they were down on power compared to everybody else. And once they got that fixed, the car was back to where it needed to be, and they came to life again.
There was a lot of nights where I'm standing at the fence or I'm in the grandstands with someone, and I'm like, that kid was a bone stock last year. That was a bone stock racer last year, and he's figured this deal out and just really taken to it like a duck to water. No, he really, really impressed me, and I felt like he was the next guy deserving of a first win, like across any division. I'm like, that he's the next one. To see him break through like that in front of we had a really good crowd on Saturday, and just a really cool moment. I think he had like 40 people in victory lane with him. Like it was just a really, really cool vibe for him. I was super stoked for him.
So we've talked about, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
We've talked about veteran racers like Amanda. Now we skipped to like kids getting their first feature win. Is it fair to say you have a pretty solid driver profile and talent pool at Sunset across your divisions, boys? I mean, you guys have some pretty good shows, as I say, across all your divisions, and some great up and coming talent, as well as some really seasoned veterans.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just the divisions have built, and you see it when you get someone like Jacob Booth who can move up. We're not just staying in bone stock. People are looking at moving on, and I'm sure Jacob Sutcliffe would be one that. How much longer is he in mini stock for? He's won the championship. He's won the features. He's won spring velocity twice. How long before he finds his next challenge, right?
Right.
Keegan Moe ages out a junior late model this year. He's won a championship. He's won features. What's he going to do next? He's not going to hang up the helmet. He wants to find something else to do. What's his next step? So, I mean, that's great. I mean, all of our divisions are feeding upward. And that's great. I mean, we're getting them in the door at junior late. They're moving up to bone stock, or bone stock's moving to mini to junior late or to super stock. And, there's drivers looking to move to hot rod. And there's just so much out there right now in our divisions and people looking to get involved. It's great.
From a promotional standpoint, I think what we try to do is that regardless of what division you're in, even if you're in one of the entry level divisions, we want to expose you to the fan base so people know who you are. So when you do move up, it's a big deal. Like,
right.
I think it's tempting for a lot of tracks. And I think a lot of this is a tough racket. This is a tough industry. So I'm not trying to, shame the way anyone else does business, but I think it's tempting to only focus and only, for sort of hone in on your primary division, on your headliner division, your pro lates, or, I guess at some tracks it would be V8s, whatever song, United Eights. Like, so it's tempting to only, but if you can give that same amount of shine to the bone stocks and the mini stocks and the junior late models, then when those guys move up, you're cultivating a fan base with them. You're not just sort of plucking them out of obscurity and putting them in a division that's one of the divisions you're deciding to promote or to headline, right? Like we try to give as much shine to everybody, regardless of what division they're racing in. If you win races, I'm going to put you on a flyer. I don't care if it's a junior late model or a mini stock. If you win races, you'll get on an event flyer. It's as easy as that. So we try to make it so that we're cultivating a talent pool where people like yourself, like, Brandon, you don't come out to Sunset every week, but even the guys in the lower divisions, you're familiar with them because we're trying to get them exposure and we're trying to get them out there. And I think we've been doing it for 2 years now. It's really starting to take root. It's starting to really pay off. And I'm really, really happy with the way that it's been working out.
I think we agree, right, bud?
I think that's exactly the same mentality that we have had. Is doesn't matter what level you're at, you deserve to be promoted no matter what. And I think we've kind of taken that from what you guys have done, because what really got me hyped up about Sunset last year was the countdowns that you guys would do on, I believe it was on Twitter.
That's all Brendan.
Oh.
I'll give him complete credit. That's all Brendan with the Facebook deal during the winter. He crushes that.
It was, but and then of course the leading up with you, Spencer, posting each, like, I think it's normally 3 racers or 4 racers from each division that you'll post.
Yep.
How we knew racers in the lower divisions were because of those posts.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Jack Bird was previously, but
Yep.
because of that post, I know, oh, that's the 25 is Jack Bird. Okay. I know John Haynes now. I know Andrea Lusk. So then when we go to the racetrack, we knew the names right away.
Yeah.
How big has social media become for the success of Sunset Speedway?
I mean, I think it's our backbone now.
You can't quantify it, man.
Yeah.
You can't quantify. But like, in fairness, like I was using social media to prop Sunset up in 2014.
Well, I was
2013.
I was doing the live tweeting for it in 2012.
Yeah, we tried to really get to the table early with that deal because we're like, well, shit, man, like this is free. Like we don't need to pay any money for this. We don't need to subscribe to this. We don't need to pay a webmaster for this. Like this is free, and we can update it from our phone. Like this is awesome. So we've tried to do new things every year, but social media, it's the spine of what we're doing. It's the bottom level. It's the bottom rung. Everything that we do sort of built, as far as fan relations go, everything builds off of that.
I mean, like between our platforms, there's easily 20,000 people to follow. I think Facebook's at about 13. I haven't checked the Twitter, but it's got to be up there around 10. I don't know what Instagram is. If it fits the Facebook and Instagram through Meta, if I can post to both, I'll post to Instagram. But you'll notice Instagram doesn't get a lot of love because not a lot of stuff drops well, and I'm too lazy to make it work. But
we know this. We know the battle there.
We need a third person. I'm telling you, if you want to come work for a Speedway, you come holler at us. Like we need a third person because I want to get TikTok going. I want to get Instagram going. But I got a list of things this long that I got to do in the winter. Those are 2 of the things. So it's on our list. We got to get that going. But Facebook and Twitter has really. It's just dollars. Like it's just every bit of effort that you put into that, you guys know your social media is fantastic. Every bit that you put into that deal, you're going to make it back. But in this deal, at the same time, it goes both ways. You're only going to get what you put in. There's a lot of tracks, and I'm not saying just in Ontario, all over, where you Google them and you click on their website link on Google, it takes you to a Facebook page. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Like you need a website and you need to have Facebook and you need to have Twitter. Like you have to use all this shit because if you don't, you're only hurting yourself. You're only taking money out of your own pocket.
You have to have the content to put on. Putting up a post is great, but I don't put up a post unless I have a picture. Even for practice, I will find something. I don't care if it's the stupid little, stick it note. Just it needs a picture. It needs to draw attention. Just writing something doesn't draw people in. You need to think through what you're doing before you do it, and then put it up there.
But just finding ways to interact with the fans has been the coolest thing about this year. Like the race of the night polls and the performance of the night polls have probably been 2 of my favorite things that I've done all season. Like that shit. Because I was thinking around in my head like last year, I'm like, man, like how can I make Saturday mean just a little bit more? Like I could go in a driver's meeting and offer these dudes $300 cash, and they probably the bone stocks would care. Everybody else are like, whatever, nerd, $300, like, we don't give a shit. But you offer them a
I get on the wheel for that for sure.
A vinyl wrapped brake rotor and some free pizza coupons, and these dudes will go to the wall trying to win performance of the night. I'm telling you, dude. So I turned to Cam in Victory Lane when we did a fan giveaway where I give out checkered flags. I put the starting lineup numbers on checkered flags, and if you're holding the winner, you come to Victory Lane and I give you a bunch of cool stuff. But I turned to Cam, I'm like, every track needs to be doing this.
Yes.
This costs you nothing. It costs you nothing but effort. That's it. I mark up the checkered flags and put together the prize, and he pushes it on the mic, and that's it. That's all it's not a crazy amount of effort. It's not a bunch of money. The fact that every track's not doing it, they need to revisit this and really, really think about how they're doing their nightly program. Because I'm telling you, man, if you hook the younger fans, they're going to bring their parents. It's simple. Will that be trickle down economics? It's pretty much how that works.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I mean, like the first time we did it, when Brad won, I remember watching that kid down in turn 1 losing their mind. Absolutely. Like at the fence, waving the flag when Brad's leading, and Corey's there challenging. No, my wind's about to go away. Like I want to go to victory lane. That kid's coming back, and that kid's now made. Now you're building that driver's fan base. Yeah, not just that. Now they're learning. Well, who is this driver? What? Oh, Josh Davenport. I'm following. I gotta. Josh Davenport's who I gotta cheer for now. Oh, great. That green 30 car. That's Josh. Now you're putting that in their head. Now they're learning who that is, and they want to remember it.
Yeah.
It's just like to do the race of the night deal where when you're leaving the track now, you can pull up your smartphone, because I try to have the polls up as quickly as I can. So now it's like on the drive home, you can you give me your opinion. Like what do you think was the best race of the night? Like Hot Rods mollywopped everybody on Saturday. They won. It was like 76% Hot Rods. I thought it would be a closer battle between the Hot Rods and the Pro Lace. It was not. Most nights though, it comes down to it's pretty close where fans have their opinions, man. Like there have been very few runaway wins this year as far as race of the night poll has gone. It just we're always looking for ways to interact with our fans, and like I'm hoping that we can think of something new for next year. Like just the polls were something new for this year, so we'll keep that going in 25. But I'm hoping I can think of something even better to do next season. Just ways to keep connecting with our audience so that they don't just feel like we're only there on Saturday night. Like I'm trying to give you content to digest 7 days a week. Like this is a 7 day a week deal. This is a 52 week a year deal. Like I drive Brendan and Sandra and Brian nuts with this shit because like they want to turn off at the end of the year, and I'm like, no, man, like fuck that. Like we gotta get. I'm already thinking about opening night next year. Like I'm already thinking about the Hanley Classic or where I'm going to put the Alan Lincoln Memorial or where I'm going to do the big Bone Stock Invitational. Like I haven't even got the velocity, and we're already thinking about that.
He got mad we took Christmas off last year.
I did. I'm dead serious. We took 2 weeks off of Christmas, and I was mad about it because I'm like, man, like we're in the zone right now. Like we got momentum right now. Like we can't stop now. And like the Todd is like, we just had a grandchild. I'm like, I don't care if he's had a grandchild. We gotta keep going. Like we gotta keep working. So
I love this. This is my
favorite. It's a good
thing
dynamic, dude.
Yeah, it's what you need though. Like this is one of the things, and Graydon and I have kind of, and I've said this before, that we want to learn from guys like yourselves who are so big in promoting the racers, and it's infectious, really. It is. I mean, because I find that with what you guys have done when I'm doing stuff with OSS, learning from what you guys do and working together, and I think that's the hardest thing that people, I don't know if they realize, that is everybody needs to work together if we want this to 100%. Succeed, and 100%. There's not enough of that.
It's that whole, it's like a rising tide lifts all boats sort of deal. Like come to I'm telling you, dude, like if you're back with OSX next year, or if you're going to go work at a Speedway or something, come to Sunset. If you rip off every single thing that I do, I'm not going to be mad at you. Like if you're going to make the industry better, I'm dead serious. If you're going to make the industry better as a whole, I'm not going to be mad at you, because I'm trying to find new things to do next year. So if you want to like come and borrow some of my ideas, like a lot of my ideas aren't original. I saw it work elsewhere, and I'm like, well, how can I move this around to try and make it work at Sunset? Like First Timers Night at Sunset for the Velocity was born out of what Oshweekend used to do. I don't know if they still do it for the Sprint Car Nationals. They used to have a non-winners race on like the Friday night, like anyone that hadn't won a 360 race. So I'm like, shit, that's an awesome idea. So that's where that concept came from. Like everything was a germ of an idea that came from somewhere else. Like the format of the Alan Lincoln Cup comes from the Milk Bowl at Thunder Road. That's where we got that from. So like no idea is original. So Red Flag Beer Special from I-80 Speedway in Nebraska. I went to Nebraska.
Brilliant idea, by the way.
And it's worked out perfectly. The Simcoe Sunrise was all the years I went to Eldora. Eldora has toilet water, and an official at Eldora told me that they sell more toilet water than they do beer. He's like, we sell more of these than anything else because it goes down smooth. It's relatively cheap. Girls love buying it, taking photos of it, posting it to Instagram. It's just like this perfect storm. So I'm like, shit, man. Like, so when I took over this role at Sunset, you know what I showed up to a meeting, the first meeting I did at Sunset, because the Todishes came and recruited me at New Smyrna last year at the World Series. And they're like, come and, would you ever consider coming back to racing? I'm like, I don't know. I'll think about it. Like, I'll come and meet with you guys. So I showed up. They had a meeting at their house, and Brendan was there. And I showed up, and I had like a loose leaf, like a folder full of ideas. Like I showed up.
Yeah.
Like Eminem in 8 Mile when he's always like writing on the
yeah.
I came with a notebook like that, and I had all these ideas. I'm like, this is what we need to be doing. Like, this is what we need to try. And I think we ended up implementing like almost all of them.
And like we already had the schedule, so that was like we ended up in like 8 edits of the schedule.
Oh, I fucked that schedule right up. I crushed that schedule. I'm like, dude, like, no. I'm like, no, we gotta move this. We gotta shoehorn this in here. I killed all their work, but it was worth it. Like, so it's just that's what you need. Like, you need to just constantly be thinking of new ideas. And if you're sampling an idea from somewhere else, that doesn't make you a bad person. Like, put your own spin on it, make it work. I hope next year more tracks are doing trading cards. I hope next year more tracks are doing the giveaways with the fans, or the rubber duck ride along, or do a poll for race of the night. Do a poll for driver. Like, I'm not gonna get mad at it. Like, if it's making racing as a whole better, like, we're an endangered species out here, man. Like, there's not a lot of us left. And when if you catch me at the velocity when I'm not on camera, I'll tell you about all the other tracks, like tracks that are close to, maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but there's a lot of tracks that are closer to the end than they are the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So like, if we can make things better while we're here, I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. So anything I can do to help, or anything I can do to influence someone else, like, I think that's the best thing imaginable. So
Well, you guys are both doing it, really. And Brendan, you brought in I love this story. It's one of my favorite things. You've got a junior announcer with you for the junior late model races. And man, he, even from his very first announce that he did, and now he's carrying conversations. He's leading the charge. You can see him getting confident. Let's talk about that. That's an amazing story, and I love seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, like I gotta say, probably it first got brought to me a few years ago, leaving Autumn Colors. His dad was there in the parking lot hanging out with some people, and you know, honestly, it's like Sunday night of Autumn Colors. I'm not staying. I'm driving home. Like, I've just worked 3 days. I just want to get in my car and drive 2 hours home and go to bed. But he stops me. He's like, hey, like, you know, my son's at home. He's been practicing, and he really wants to try. And I'm like, oh, let's bring him out sometime. So I honestly think it was like about a full year later, he finally came and was like, hey, like, can we try it? And I'm like, sure. Like, gives me a break. Honestly, like, I can go refill my water. I can grab a bite to eat. Like, you know, and you know, not at mid-season we ended up getting 2 mics this year, so that helps. And now I can converse with him. Where before it was like I was kind of like, okay, take the mic back, say some things, give it back. Now I can kind of like cut in when need be and be like, you know, and give him a little bit to work with and carry that conversation with, which helps. I mean, you know, it's tough if you've never done the job as an adult, let alone, you know, I honestly don't know how old he is. I'm 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, you know, but like however old you are at that age to attempt to just jump in and do it, you know. And so it's good to be able to have that now. And you know, Tom when he was there, he was really great at working with him and carry the conversation with Nolan and stuff back and forth. And, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Eckenswiller. Like, that dude is probably the most underappreciated announcer anywhere. Like, that, he's, for someone that only does it like 4 times a year at this point, like, that dude is really, really, really good. And he's coming back this weekend. Is this interview going to air before the Velocity? It is, right? Yeah, we're heading.
Yes,
right,
sir.
He's coming back this week. Atomic Tom's coming this weekend. So you're going to get Brendan Doherty and Atomic Tom Eckenswiller on the mic together all 3 days. It's going to be awesome. That's so, and Nolan, he's going to be there. I don't know how that works.
If he shows,
messed him up. I don't know. I think he's going to be there.
If he shows up, he shows up. I don't know until race day.
We don't know. You gotta come and spend your money. We don't know who's going to be there.
That's how you're going to find out. Will the third man be there? It's like the NWO.
We don't know, right? Who's the third man? We have no idea. I don't know.
Who's the third man?
Cable is the third man.
Oh man, just as long as he doesn't do a leg drop on anybody, then we're good.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
What is one of the things for you guys that is, I'm going to throw it out there, that maybe fans don't realize that goes into the race days? I think a lot of people are quick to complain about stuff. So for you guys, what's the most frustrating aspect of a race season? I would think it would be weather, because you can't do anything about it. But do you guys have something in particular that maybe would be a bit of either a pet peeve or something that just, you know, wished you could change?
Weather's difficult. I think a lot of our fans we have a lot of smart fans. Like, we have a lot of fans that are sort of tuned in and keyed in. And I think they know, but like, until you're in it, like, I never really understood it. Like, when I was just announcing, I didn't really understand like how much went into throwing these events, you know, and like how much goes into like when I look at my race day list, like when I'm leaving home and like all the stuff I gotta have, it fries your brain like an egg. Like I roll up and my van, like my SUV is just like full to the brim. You know, like I look like I'm living in my car, and it's just to have because you got to have everything. You know, you show up at 10 a.m. and you're there till 1 in the morning. You know, 12:30 at night, and so I think I think when people get mad at us, it's like I promise no one wants this to succeed as much as we do, and it's a ton of hours. I think often and like we're not even playing with our own money, right? Like this, the Toddish just keep this place open. Like this is just we try and help run the show for the Toddishes. It's their money, so like we also have to take that into effect. So like when we pull a trigger and rain something out, it's not because I don't have anything else going on. I got nothing. Like this is my whole life. I don't have a pool in my backyard. You know, I don't have any other hobbies. The Toddishes like they want to be there just as bad as anybody else does. So I think my biggest pet peeve would be when people just give it to us on the internet over the rainouts, and it's like, dude, I promise we want to be there. We just don't want to lose $20,000 because we gambled on running and no fans showed up because we still got to pay the drivers, right? Like if they show up and buy tires, we got to pay them.
Pay staff.
Got to pay staff. Got to pay your insurance. Got to pay your hydro.
Got to buy the food. Like burger buns ain't gonna hold for 7
Burger
days.
buns are only good for 3 weeks. So if you or no, sorry, it's French fries. French fries are only good for 3 weeks. Burger buns are only good for a week or something like that. There's dates on everything, right? So it's like if you have a bunch of rainouts back to back, like you just got to throw all that out. So that's just lost revenue. Like it's just gone. So there's so many of those little decisions behind the scenes that go into making these calls.
Yeah, that's like that right there. Like even just saying like burger buns, if you have one rain out, there's just like a percentage of your shit is gone.
Yeah,
right?
dude,
Like,
it's gone. It's gone. And like that's the shit that I never thought about. Like, because
how many tickets do you have to sell to get that back and then get back to zero and start going past that?
Exactly. Before you ever start cashing a check to put back into the business, like you're just trying to make it to zero, right? You know, I'm not even saying this to try to educate the drivers because I get it. Like these dudes spend their money and their time and their hours. Like I'm not trying to get preachy with anybody. Drivers are pretty understanding with us, or at least for the last 2 years they have been. Yeah. It's just sometimes, dude, the fans just rip us apart with the weather calls.
And I think too, like people just don't understand. We have careers. We both work 5-6 days a week. We have jobs that require our full attention from normal business hours, maybe not normal business hours or some.
I don't work very hard. I don't work very hard.
But I mean, like the hours 8 to 5, I'm committed to something else. And then I go home, I got 2 kids to raise. So like I put in as much time to this as I can. And I look after the Facebook. So every Facebook message I get, every Instagram message comes to me. I'm the only one person answering. So I answer it when I can. I answer what I can. But I think people just pile on. It's like, you guys got to understand, like, if you're messaging us at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, this is our literally only day off at best. And we're still doing work. We're just not doing everything, So I think it becomes a point where people just don't quite understand, like, what it takes. And I mean, it's not just us, it's everybody on the staff. This is not their 9 to 5. This is not paying their bills. This is not covering your mortgage at the end of the month. Yeah. And everyone puts their best effort in. People are going to make mistakes. We're all human.
But at the same time, I don't want apathy. I don't want, like, if I rain out and nobody gives a shit, that means that I suck at my job, that we suck at our jobs. Like, if you're so invested that you're so stoked that you've been counting down all week because you want to cover the track, and then we rain out and you want to be like, fuck these guys. It sucks to read it, but I'm like, that means they care. So we must be doing something right. So it's all that passion comes from the same, love and hate come from the same place. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, if you're mad at me, it's because you love what we're doing, because you're super stoked about what we're doing. So I'm not trying to paint it as a negative. I hope the fans don't take it that way. I just think that it's just a pet peeve, because I think that those that aren't there, like, you don't know all that goes into it. And we start talking about rainouts like Thursday morning. What's plan B, or what are we going to do? And
and we're getting messages asking if we're already rained out.
Yeah, man. Like, so like on race days, like, if it's a matinee start, like, we're texting each other at like 5 a.m. If it's an evening start, we're texting each other at like 7:30 in the morning. Like, it's so much goes into these decisions. So I promise,
and we're not meteorologists.
nothing's fly by night. You know, like
we are looking at hourly forecasts. We're looking at several different radars, and none of it we have a degree in. We're asking people to have degrees in it, and they're giving us their best opinions. You know, and there's days where, you know, he messages me from, you know, living in Midland, messages me in Barrie, goes, please tell me it's not sunny in your backyard right now.
Yeah, because we have, if we rain it out and then it's sunny outside, I'm like, I'm gonna hear about this for the next 6 days. Yeah. Like, someone's gonna dunk on me on the internet because of this. Like, oh god damn. But I will say that, so I'm that's the negative. That's the pet peeve.
Yes.
The number of drivers that have stopped me in the last year to tell me like what a good job all of us are doing. It's I would say probably easily 70% of the roster across all 7 divisions at some point have told me like, hey man, I just want you to know, like, thank you for everything you guys do. And just know, if you're one of those drivers, I promise, you've been mentioned in the group chat, as soon as someone compliments the program, we immediately go and tell the other like, so like if Sandra or Brian gets a compliment, they'll tell us. Like if I get a text message or a phone call, I'll go in the group chat and be like, oh, like, you know, they really like what we're doing. So we're just hyper vigilant about all of that, about the good and the bad, right? Mm-hmm. So I do appreciate our drivers and how much they support us and how much they let us know that they appreciate what we're doing and what we're investing in the track. I think right now we're in a good place. Like, really, my only pet peeve is fans that dunk on us, but they only dunk on us because they're really excited to get to the racetrack, which is not a terrible thing. So if that's the only thing we got to complain about, we're doing pretty good. You know, like, other than that, we got an awesome roster. We got a really good staff. We got a really good fan base. Like, other than that, like, everything else is pretty good right now.
Like, the dust is just all but settled on your season. It's been hectic, and you can maybe take a step back, but as you guys say, it's a 52 a week year job, and it's not your primary job, as you guys say. I mean, you guys yourselves and everybody that's part of a team like this are there because they want to be. And I think, like, passion fuels that fire. Am I right? It gets to be a grind, I'm sure. And we can sort of attest to that at certain points where it makes you want to kind of bang your head against the wall sometimes. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here because we want to be and leave the sport in a better place than it was when we got here, right?
That's exactly it. It's passion over logic, man. Like, every racer that has a car in the garage,
it's
passion over logic, right? Like, you're spending more money than you should on something that's not going to make you anything in return, that you're going to take out and either blow up or wreck. And we're putting in hours that we got a finite amount of hours. You know what I mean? And we're spending as much as we can on this deal. And Toddishers are spending crazy amounts of money to keep this place. Like, all of us, we're all crazy. You guys are nuts for hosting this show. You know, this show doesn't make you any money. You do this for the love of the game. There's passion over logic for all of us.
Well,
no racers are making any money. Racers aren't making any money. Stickers and stuff. You guys are doing it for the love of the game. We're not making any money. Like, I think Hoosier Tire's making some good money. Yeah. Hoosier Tire makes a lot of money. American Racer makes a lot of money. You know, McCall Racing Enterprises, they probably make a lot of money. That's about it. Derek Lynch, Derek Lynch, who I love him. I feel like Derek Lynch sort of taught me how to do this job. Derek Lynch told me one day that I know there's money in racing because I put it there. And I was like, that's wild shit. Like, he's like, I don't know where it went, but I put money in racing. There's got to be money somewhere. I don't know where it is. I haven't found it yet. But there is money in racing somewhere. I haven't found it. So hopefully you guys can run with this stickers and scuffs deal, and you guys can find it. I wish you all the best. Now, passion over logic is the mantra for short track racing, no matter where you are, whether it's dirt or pavement. You know, this industry surviving is sort of contingent on another group of people coming up that are every bit as goofy as we are, that are willing to spend $120,000 to make 10 of it back. You know, like, that's what we're hoping for in racing, is that, you know, these kids are going to come up and do the same dumb shit that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, for a Sunset end of things, I mean, I've been going there since the early 90s, the mid 90s. You know, we met by crashing our now bone stocks into each other. You know, like, the two of us have done pretty much everything. We've raced, we've crewed, we've announced, we've promoted. You know, we've been going to this place since the 90s. We've grown up there. You know, there's a very small part of our early childhood that we weren't there. Yeah. And now, you know, it it's really cool to come full circle that we are, you know, promoting it, that we are part of the team that makes this happen every week. And that's really cool. You know, that
Yeah.
that Brian and Sandra see that in us and they see our passion and they let us come and play with their money and put this on and help out and do all the things we get to do. And, you know, like, you know, I think probably, you know, 5-year-old me is absolutely, you know, insane. Adult me is like, God, I just want to break at some point. But you know, like that's the passion. It's the inner child in us that grew up there that now gets to see what we can do at this place. It gets to see what happens. It gets nights like Saturday night where the place goes absolutely crazy. You know,
Yeah.
That's what brings us back, and that's what gets us ready for next year.
Like, this is literally the only job I ever wanted to do. Between announcing at Sunset and promoting Sunset, it's the only, like, as a kid, that's all I ever dreamed about doing. I didn't want to be an astronaut or a firefighter. Like, this is literally all I ever wanted to do. Like, all I ever wanted to do was work at the stupid Speedway, and now I work at the stupid Speedway. That's all. That's good enough for me.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the coolest thing in the world, and like to be able to do it with one of my best friends, and I get to do it with owners that, you know, I don't think enough people give the Todishes the credit. Like, as far as like what they put into this deal and the sometimes blind faith that they show in us to put a show on for them, it's the coolest deal in the world. And like when we walk in on a Saturday and it's like a beefy sort of card where we got a bunch of cars in the pits and there's a bunch of fans in the stands, like that shit is the best feeling in the world. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how much or how little I make doing this deal. Like that's worth it. You know, like that's the coolest thing in the world. Like you go to the pits at the end of the night, everyone's having a good time. Like it's just that atmosphere and those vibes are 100%. Like I can't speak for everybody else, but that's why I do it. Like that's what keeps me coming back. That's why I work. I don't think I've taken a day off since Christmas. Christmas was probably the last day off that I had with this deal. But it's worth it. I'm not complaining. Like I love it. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. And like if I could do more, I would. You know, if I could take on more with this deal, I would.
It's a true story. We went to Iowa before Spring Velocity. He, between sleeping in the passenger seat, is sending me stuff to post to Facebook while I'm driving the car.
Yeah, so I'm like, when you stop, post this on Facebook.
Yeah, so every rest stop when I'm trying to grab a bite to eat while he's still sleeping in the front seat is now my chance to do the things he's requested me to do for Facebook and Instagram.
I'm telling you, dude, like I'm you want me on your team, you just don't want me on the same line as you. You don't want to be on the like I think the Todishes love that I work for them, but they hate when I call them. Like they hate when I have an idea. Like they love that I'm on the staff. They just don't want anything to do with me. And I don't blame them. Brendan's super stoked to work with me for the first like 2 weeks of the year, and he's like, this fucking guy, like I can't stand him. Like, I feel like I'm gonna.
Somebody posted a little while ago, I think a picture of us, and I commented like, we're like 2 years in, we haven't killed each other yet. That's probably our biggest.
That may have been myself actually, because I actually
think it was you. I think it was you.
We're still friends. We haven't killed each other.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go back for a third year on this deal. So
it's honestly it's because like our bar is here.
Mm-hmm.
Like we try not to settle, you know, because like when I look at the front gate price or the back gate price, like I don't charge you less if I put on a shit event. You know what I mean? So like if I'm gonna ask you to pay full pop, if I'm gonna ask the drivers to pay full deal when they come in, tires don't get any cheaper. Like all this shit costs what it does. So it's like, okay, if these guys are gonna spend that money, it's on me to make it worth it. It's on me to give the drivers a good enough show to want to be a part of, and it's on me to make sure the fans have something that they want to come and part with their money for. So like that's my bar is up here, so I'm on all the time, and I think it drives people crazy. It's a lot.
I think that kind of, I mean, it's maybe the not so secret to the success of the way you guys do business around there. I mean, you kind of have to be that way to keep that hype going for the 24/7, 365. I mean, it is cold and dark here in Ontario for a lot of the months of the year, but it doesn't mean that racing goes cold and dark. As we say, like calendar, like companies' fiscal years don't start and end in January. Like you got to be ahead of the curve to lay out, and you guys are the same too, laying out partnerships for next year. And
100%.
it all is a living, breathing animal, and it's a good thing that you guys have that passion to stay on top of that beast, because once you fall behind that curve, you guys like you don't want to lose that edge that you guys have, I would say.
That's the thing. Like keeping momentum is so much harder. Like it's
Right.
easy to get there. To
Yep.
stay there is really, really, really hard. You know,
Exactly.
and like I came up, so I came up under Derek Lynch and Mark Dilly, like working on this
Wow.
side of things. Like, so
Yeah.
I learned a lot from both of them, right? Like, and like Derek Lynch taught me how to be a professional. Mark Dilly taught me how to throw a party, and I try to like put both those
That
things.
sounds about right.
You know, I try to blend those two things. But I also saw Mark Dilly, like when he was on top, like when he had Sunset, Sunset was white hot because I was there. Like, it was that shit was some of the best years of my life. It was so much fun, and we had so many cars, and we had so many fans, and so I'm always just like, well, how did he keep this going for so long? How are we so hot for so long? Like, how can I emulate that?
Mhm.
How can I
Right.
do that? You know, whether it's you know, we do the race of the night deal. So when a division wins race of the night, we take a random starter and they get a Sunset prize pack. You know, they get like it's a T-shirt and some trading cards and free ice cream, and we're giving stuff away to the fans every race night. We give away 2 passes in every drivers meeting to just a random racer, like just anything like that, where we want people to keep coming back. We want people to know that like we genuinely give a shit about them. We, like,
Yeah.
the Hodishes care. We care. Like we want
Yeah.
you to keep coming back, and that's what we're trying to do. Like we're just trying to
Yeah.
cultivate this momentum and keep it going. And so even if it takes a crazy amount of effort, like I feel like the juice is worth the squeeze.
Absolutely.
Right? It's worth it. Tell them how much it's worth it. Tell them how much fun you're having every week with me. Tell them right now. That's the camera right there. Hello, that's the camera right there. Tell them how much fun you're having.
No,
Look how much fun he's having.
as you can tell, he's very overwhelming, which is it's. But I've got 20 years of practice in dealing with it, which is actually crazy to think about. 2 guys that smashed into each other on a racetrack have.
That's a great story. I love that. That's
He
fantastic.
thought I was gonna punch him when I seen him at Barrie the next
I
day.
have never been less equipped to do anything in my life than be a race car driver. I've never been more. I was like,
Here,
I've
buddy.
never been worse at anything. I think I probably would have a better chance of giving birth than I would being a good race car driver. That's real shit.
Don't let fear and common sense stand in your way.
I'm telling you that, like, I tried it and I was like, you know what? Not for me. We're gonna figure something else out. I gotta figure out another path here because this is not working.
And so true story. So he went to announcing. He hung up the helmet. He went to announcing, and I think I was one of the first people to compliment. So because I think you brought back nicknames.
Yeah.
From the 90s,
Yeah.
when you and I were fans that these announcers knew nothing about, and I was like, hey man, that took me back.
Because there was a cycle at the time where Sunset was just hiring like radio announcers and hockey announcers, and these dudes that like their first time seeing racing was their first night at the Speedway. Like, this guy fucking sucks. Like, this is terrible.
Mhm.
So at the end of the year, this dude, he's actually really successful. I won't name names. Was not very nice to me. He was not right. He was a prick. This dude was not a nice guy. He works for the NHL now. He probably makes way more money than I do. He probably owns like 3 houses. Like he's way more successful in life than I am. But he was a dick. So I went to Glenn Lloyd, who was the owner and promoter of Sunset at the time, and I went to him. I'm like, man, all due respect, like this dude doesn't know who anybody is. Like you can tell he's not into it. I'm like, can I be your announcer just for the mini stocks and the bone stocks? And I'll pay my own way in. You don't even need to give me any money. I'll pay my own way in. Just let me do the mini stocks and the bone stocks. So he calls me a week later and he's like, well, you know, he carnied me so good too. Like, this is like how to be a promoter 101. He goes, well, you know, if you're going to work for me, I got to pay you. How's $40 a night sound? So I was ready to pay. Dude, I was ready to pay my own admissions. I was $40 a night. So
Holy crap.
I was commuting. So you live at where? You're at McAllen and Ellesmere? McAllen and Lawrence?
I'm Midland and Danforth.
Midland and okay. I was at McAllen or Markham and Eglinton.
Oh, okay.
So I had to commute. So it was like $30 in gas just to get to the track and then stay there 12 hours and profit $10. But I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So that's got me in the door of like working on this side of the fence with racing, because I was like the dirt worst race car driver that anybody had ever seen. And yes, he was the first person that told me that I was not a horrible race car driver or race car announcer. For the record, that's
Go back because there are videos that I've been watching on YouTube. I still think you need to bring the fedora back because That was interesting.
I got a whole drip of stuff in my house. I still have the jorts. I still have the fedora.
All right.
Look, if we
Where's
do
the throwback night?
If we do like a throwback night, I'll
night.
bring that shit back for a night.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
He was the master of the Lindbergh look.
Yeah, I really did. I had the scarf like an old aviator. You know, like look. We had a whole thing. That was a long time ago. That was like
tried a lot of things.
I tried a lot of looks. You know, like I tried a lot of things. Master gimmick. I got the socks now. The socks are my gimmick now. That's what we're at right now. Next year it might be something different. High socks right now is
like that wrestler's mentality where I got to change it up.
I got to reinvent myself every other year.
When they do the new action figure, they have to make a new one.
I'm gonna come out with a different haircut next year or some shit like that. Or like put some peroxide on my hair or something. Something for opening night next year.
All right. Well,
like these dudes are having so much fun. We'll come on every week. We'll come hang out every week.
We've got opportunities. We got SNS Live. We'll definitely have to do that.
Oh my God!
I want to just get before we wrap it up, boys. We represent which side are we on here? We represent Sunset Speedway.
That's what's up. I love it.
Every week.
Come get one of the new shirts if you're there this weekend.
Absolutely. We're really honored to be partnered with the track and to have a billboard there. And honestly, Graydon and I, one of the things that we talked about was, you talked about it earlier, your racers, your people made us feel like one of you guys as soon as we got there, and we didn't expect it. We certainly didn't expect, because we were both brand new to Ontario racing. And you know what? Delaware started it with the Rogers broadcast, GForce with the broadcast, but it wasn't it was the experience that we had visiting your track and dealing with your racers that made, I think, both of us fall in love with grassroots racing more than we have ever fallen in love with anything else. And as Graydon and I pointed out the other day, I said, we don't really want to do anything NASCAR related, big time racing. It's not where the heart is. It's not where the fun is.
Let me tell you from personal experience, don't do it. It's the drizzling shits. Ask me how I know. Don't do it. Don't do it. You won't have any fun. You won't have any fun. They won't let you curse. You're not allowed to swear. You know, like it's like a whole other thing. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We won't make it very far.
You would think those coolers are super. They're not. There's not a lot of drinks. It's not great. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's the grassroots
racing. This is the fun shit right here.
It is, and the people, the racers that have been so supportive, the track that's been so supportive, you guys as well. That's who we want to learn from, and we have. And it's been an absolute honor getting to know both of you guys. And like I said, I wanted to be an announcer my whole life. I didn't want to be a racer. I wanted to be Alan Bestwick. I'll settle for being Brendan Doherty. That's pretty good too. And then of course,
that'll be my answer every time you say that.
Well, too bad. So and then again, going back and Spencer, you had, I can't remember the exact show name, but I remember watching all the interviews that you had. And again, one of the names that I knew right away was Spencer Lewis as well. So, both of us, Graydon's got the opportunity to race at Sunset. He's going to have the opportunity, I think, in the future too, even though he doesn't know it. But
you're there on Friday night though, right? For the OSS. Yeah. So why don't you get him on because we got two mics. You should do the ringer. You should do because we got okay. Do you know the rules of the ringer? Do you know what the ringer is?
It's supposed to be an experienced or well-established racer in somebody else's vehicle.
So, and we're doing it for mini stock and bone stock.
Yes, you are.
It's right off the trailer. So they put in $20. We match the $20 at the track, so it's $40 per car, and winner takes all. And anyone can race as long as it's not the registered racer or registered driver of that car for mini stock and bone stock. So if we have a bunch of ringer ass racers, we should have a ringer ass announcer. You want to do it? Come on.
I'm not going to turn it away.
No, come on.
There you go, buddy.
You're the OSS guy. You go with it. There you go.
You're a ringer ass announcer. Come on, dude. Friday night, come hang out. I'm telling you, the Sunset balcony is the best seat in the whole house. You'll have a good time. There, look at that. We made that happen right now.
Well, I guess we're making
the third man. He's our third man.
The third man.
There you go, dude. Friday night, you're the third man. Perfect.
I just wish that I don't know if we're gonna have the trash thrown on us like the third man from that night. I'd
Oh,
rather.
I don't recommend
Yeah.
ever having trash thrown at you. It's not great. So
No.
if you can avoid it as long as you can, that's the best way to go about things.
Guys, Sunset Speedway Velocity is this weekend. Championship is kind of like we said, the champions are set, but Velocity is this weekend, 3-day event. Camping's available, tickets are available. Come and enjoy this track. Obviously be around for the whole playoff season, but why do we have to have racers go, and not just racers, but fans come to Sunset Speedway this weekend for Velocity? Why do they have to be there?
The whole vibe.
You gotta come, man. Like you have to come. Like it's just from the first heat races on Friday night, because we've sort of separated it now into like 3 events. Like it's a whole weekend, but you can't just skip Friday and Saturday and hope to come Sunday for the features, because we got features all 3 days. We got qualifying full shows all 3 days. And this is the shit. It's gonna be on Facebook. All your friends are going to be talking about it. It's going to be on Twitter. You're going to see the Campground All-Stars going to be out there. They know who they are. Shout outs to the Campground All-Stars and Bad Decisions. You're going to see photos of the Simcoe sunrises that people are drinking. And your ass is going to be at home and you're going to be like, man, I should have gone to Sunset. Come for all 3 days. It's a whole vibe. You'll leave. You won't have any voice left because you had so much fun. You know, like it's the biggest show of the year. And I feel like I say that once a month because I'm a carny. Every show that I do is the biggest show of the year. But this one actually is the biggest show of the year. I put it on the flyer. On the flyer, it said biggest show of the year. So if I put it in writing, it can't be a lie. You got to come. We're gonna have cars everywhere. Like we're gonna have overflow pits. We're gonna have a whole field full of Johnnies out there with their trucks and trailers and cars. We won't have enough spots in the pits for them. We're gonna, we're blowing out merchandise items. I'm gonna have a merch table there. We're gonna have the Sunset Speedway merch if you haven't already got it. We got we went and got 80 cases of burgers and hot dogs. Like we got the food. If you haven't tried a walking taco, you got to come and do that. If you've never drank a Simcoe Sunrise, get on it.
Try the chicken bites.
Try the chicken bites too. You got to. This is one of those deals where you're not going to see us again until May. So don't wait. What's the forecast going to be like? Good, right? It's going to be sunny and hot all weekend. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Sunny and hot all weekend. It's going to be perfect. You need to come out, go see Brendan, ask him if we're racing next year. He won't even get mad about it. Go ask him if the track's going to close. He'll think it's really funny. It's going to be good. It's one of those deals where like all the racers you've heard about are going to be there. Like even if you're a Sunset regular and you've only heard about guys that race elsewhere, I bet they're probably going to be there too. J.R. Fitzpatrick's going to be in Taylor Holdaway's Pro Late model for the 100 lap deal on Sunday. Like it's just everyone's going to be there. Everyone's gonna, you got the super late models and the hot rods on Saturday. You got pro late models. You got the final of the Big 3 series for the junior lates. You got the ringer and first timers night with the OSS on Friday. It's a whole deal.
Championship night for the OSS.
Championship night for the OSS. Call in sick. Just come and watch racing with us for 3 straight days because you'll regret it if you don't.
That's a hell of a pitch.
That's the pitch right there, bro.
Somebody's been watching pro wrestling, man. That's how you do
my
it.
whole life. My whole life.
As long as we go to Sunday, we'll be watching pro wrestling. So.
My whole life.
Spencer Lewis, Brendan Doherty here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Thank you boys so much for coming on.
Guys. And thank you guys for what you do for the industry. No bullshit, because it's we need guys like you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the contributions that you guys make.
Back at you, fellas.
We absolutely love it. And we love Sunset Speedway. Can't wait to be back next year. And of course, we'll be there for Velocity.
And you'll be on the mic on Friday night.
And we'll be on the mic on Friday night. Here we go.
That's what's up. All right.